I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
For the action movie that's nothing less than brilliant. The Professional is an absolute knockout. Explosive and thrilling.
I'm dying to meet him.
A riveting, nail-biting film. It makes speed look like a slow ride to Grandma's house. From internationally acclaimed action director Luc Besson. The Professional at theaters Friday.
Hi, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This is a Patreon review for Vontae McCrae. Thank you so much for the pledge to my Patreon. If anyone ever wants to pledge to my Patreon, the link to that is down below. Or if you want to request a movie review or request commentary, a movie topic, review of something else other than maybe a stage play, but pretty much anything else, the link to my PayPal is down below. If not, no worries, I understand. But the review for today is Leon the Professional, or at first we knew it as The Professional in the US, but now it's sort of commonly known as Leon the Professional. And this is one that I saw back in the day, and I was a bit iffy on, but back in the day, there are certain films I didn't appreciate as much. I wouldn't say I hated, raged on them. It's like, it's there. But as I grow up, you'd appreciate it a little bit more. Like, for example, this movie. And it's not my favorite Luc Besson film who directed. My favorite Luc Besson film, I would say, is The Fifth Element. I still love The Fifth Element. I'm not a big La Femme Nikita fan, the movie he did. I tried to think of other Luc Besson movies now. What was that one? Valerian? I didn't see that. But this one, I do think it's a good movie. Granted, some of the advertising, I don't get. What was the one critic? One critic said it made Speed look like a ride to Grandma's house. And I'm going, I like the film, but it's nowhere near, in my opinion, the level of Speed with Keanu Reeves. But it's a good film. And there are two cuts in the movie, and I believe I did see the extended cut. Just there were moments that I didn't recognize. Like there's a scene where she tries to kill herself. That might have been the original cut, but like there was one where there's like not really a montage, but I should get to what the movie's about first. You have this established assassin, Leon, played by Jean Reno, who, yes, I remember him the most from the 1998 Godzilla movie, and I liked him in that movie. There's a nice establishing scene where really good camera work. It's moving over the city, and it pushes into a building, and it's where this one guy with all of his henchmen are at, and we get to see Jean Reno as this hitman in Little Italy, New York, killing folks like Strangles One. Comes out of the shadows to showcase how effective this person is. Meanwhile, Natalie Portman, when she was very young, she is living with a shitty family. I mean, she has an abusive dad. I think not really her mom, but like a stepmom, a shitty stepsister. but she loves her younger brother. And she kind of has a little bit of a friendship going with Jean Reno, but not really, but a little bit. And one day, Natalie Portman's father is in business with this corrupt DEA agent, played by Gary Oldman. And some cocaine is missing, so they go in, wipe everybody out. Natalie Portman was not at home. She comes home, notices something's up, keeps going, kind of begging to be let into Jean Reno's apartment, and he does. And then throughout the film, she wants to be a hitman till she finds out quickly who he is, and till she wants to have retribution for the death of her younger brother. And the movie showcases this friendship between Jean Reno and Natalie Portman's characters. And a little bit of a Lolita thing. Maybe that's not the right one to use. You see a little bit, and maybe this is established a bit more in the extended cut, that she loves him in that way. Thankfully, they don't go over the line. Jean Reno's character does not reciprocate at all. Doesn't go overboard. But I just see maybe unsettling some people with that content. But it doesn't go overboard. Doesn't cross the line. If you had Jean Reno say, yeah, there'd be a different movie. But I mean, at times Natalie Portman's character, I don't want to say standoffish, but at the same time, given her situation, what the character's going through, I could kind of understand it. I did enjoy Jean Reno, cool, calculating killer, but see that he softens up and ultimately really does care for Natalie Portman's character and vice versa. Gary Oldman, I know there were some critics at the time really going at Gary Oldman for hamming it up. And he is hamming it up, but it's an entertaining hamming it up. I mean, what do you mean everyone? Everyone! I don't want to scream as loud as he is because I don't want to kill my voice. Everyone! It's entertaining to watch. Or when he's ready to get to Natalie Portman's dad and he's saying stuff like, I like these calm moments before the storm. And he's taking pills. Gary Oldman's a lot of fun to watch. Part of me wants to see the film that is strictly his character being this just fucking eating evil like a bag of chips with some salsa on the side. But he's pretty damn entertaining. I mean, there's a point where an old woman comes out, what you do to that family? He said, go back inside. And he starts shooting at the old woman. He misses. But he's like, he said, go back inside. He starts shooting at the old lady. Purposely trying to be funny, and it did make me laugh. I'm like, this is a really fun character. I wish he was in the film more. You know, when he's, I've got time for this Mickey Mouse bullshit. So you got that interspersed with Jean Reno and Natalie Portman bonding. Ultimately, Jean Reno starting to show her a little bit of the ropes. At first with paintball. And it's a well-directed movie. There's some gorgeous shots. The finale where this SWAT team personnel is trying to get Jean Reno in his apartment. And there's a scene where they shoot this little missile and the camera, it's like panning. You see the missile and then it turns and you see the missile going towards the door. The camera's following it. Not directly, but to the side. You see in the trailer some well choreographed scenes. It's not, I mean, I guess technically it's an action film, but at the same time, if you go into it thinking it's going to be wall-to-wall shootouts and action, you're going to be disappointed. It's definitely more of a character piece of these two characters bonding with each other. Some side characters like the villain, Gary Oldman's character, this guy who's kind of a friend to Jean Reno, played by Danny Aiello, great character actor. And then Jean Reno teaching Natalie Portman like how to shoot a sniper rifle and using paintball. I was saying there's two cuts of the film, I guess. I believe I saw the extended cut, because I don't remember the bit where she tries to shoot herself. Again, that might have been the original cut. But I don't remember the bit where they go door to door, cutting the chains off these guys' doors, which is part of the bad guy group. And there's a point where, okay, for example, Leon throws a grenade and then tells her a little bit about he has this ring on his finger, which is from the grenade. He says a piece of dialogue, which kind of makes the ending make a little bit more sense when you see the ring in Gary Oldman's hand. So I don't know all that is different between the extended and the original cut, but I believe I did see the extended cut. I mean, it's not necessary to see the extended cut, in my opinion. Well, I just said I didn't know all the difference, so maybe that's not true. I don't know, maybe I liked it more because I saw the extended cut. I'm not an expert on it, and there are many people who create much smarter, in-depth pontificating the merits of the movie. To me, I'm the type of guy that goes, it's a good film, because it has some solid acting. When the action scenes are there, it's handled fairly well. And Natalie Portman, there are times where her character, again, standoffish is not the right word. I wouldn't say she got on my nerves, but a little bit bratty. But again, I do think there's some good acting in there. And considering the circumstances that has happened to her character, I've given her leeway. Plus, she's a pretty decent actress nowadays, and even back then. And yeah, it has a memorable, fun, villainous performance by Gary Oldman. Jean Reno played that. This is probably his most well-known character, I would imagine, Jean Reno. And I'm not sure if the movie was a hit. It definitely seems like a film people do remember or reference a little bit. Like, oh, I remember that movie. There are a couple interviews online on YouTube where a more grown-up Natalie Portman and Jean Reno talk about the film. You just type in the title or maybe interviews or making up, you'll find it. But I know Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs down, which I shouldn't take too seriously because they gave Speed 2 thumbs up. I'm like, okay, I don't agree with the critic that says, this is so good it made Speed look like Ride the Grandma's House. I'm like, no, Speed is a thrill-a-minute thing. This one is more of a character study with a little bit of action at the beginning, a few little spurts, and then your finale. Which then they're handled well, but it's not an action-packed movie. But when it's there, it's handled perfectly fine. Maybe the whole, I didn't want to say Lolita, but this whole where you could tell she really fancies Jean Reno's character. For example, there's a point where she is trying to get him to guess who she is. So at one point this is like a 13, 14-year-old girl, and she's dressed kind of scantily, singing like a virgin touched for the very first time. I'm like, I feel like I should go into jail just seeing this, or let alone hearing this. But thankfully, like Jean Reno, he's being innocent on it, and he's trying to guess who it is, and maybe that is the point of the film. He doesn't know pop culture, like he doesn't know Madonna, he doesn't even know Charlie Chaplin, because that's the next one. But he does know Gene Kelly. And, the finale, personal preference, there's something I would change of a certain character's fate, but it didn't make me mad. It didn't piss me off. I'm like, okay, I understand why the story went in that direction. It just, with a certain character's fate, I would have gone a different way. And just me personally, but I get what they were going for. But you did a couple of nice explosions. You did a competent score. Score's not bad. Again, some really good looking shots, usages of the camera. And yeah, The Professional, well done movie. Well done movie. I don't love it to death. What would have made me love it to death? I don't know, maybe a couple more scenes of, I mean, do I think you need the Lolita, like the girl, like this close away to wanting to hump Jean Reno's brains? Maybe personally, nah, I didn't think you needed that. I think you could still establish that she loves him, but more of a friendship love. I would have been perfectly fine with. Maybe a few more action set pieces. Maybe a few 2 or 3 more moments of showing Jean Reno what he does best. But I'm always a guy that's greedier and greedier for action. Some people would say Gary Oldman's performance. To me, I'm like, no. In fact, I would love to see more of Gary Oldman in the movie. I love his villainous character in this. I did. I could see a whole movie about this character. But yeah, it's definitely a film that I didn't hate, but I'm like, as I've grown older, I appreciate it more. Especially watching it again now. I appreciate the film more. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Thank you once again, Vontae McRae. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Later.